don't try to put out the same level of production or whatever as the times when you have felt totally resourced, because those levels of what you need and what you have and what you can give shift. And that's totally normal and totally human. And we just need to honor that in order to prevent ourselves from going into burnout and bitterness and resentment. Hello, lovelies. Welcome back to Squeaky's Cauldron. I am your host, Sarah Evergreen. Thank you for coming to spend a little time in my weird, witchy corner of the internet. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different than my typical episode, where I offer up a lot of information about a particular topic. Instead, I'm going to be doing a bit more of an update episode. I have been pretty quiet on this channel for the last 2 to 3 weeks, and I felt moved to kind of let you guys in on what's been going on in my life during that time. There's been a lot of processing that I have been going through, and a period of time where I felt like I didn't have the energetic reserves to record at all. If you've been active on my community page on YouTube, you will have seen maybe a post where I talked about that I was just going to give myself a week off while I was in Gijón, Spain. And the reason for that is because I was staying in an Airbnb with other people, which in and of itself is really difficult for my nervous system. And on top of that, they were people that I had a very difficult time communicating with, both for reasons of personality differences and also for reasons of not knowing the same language. Like, they spoke only Spanish and I speak very little Spanish, to the point where I can safely say I don't speak Spanish, And so that entire week I felt kind of like I was in survival mode, really. Like, I was just getting through it. I was able to enjoy myself in Gijón, but not in the way where I felt fully like myself. One of those things that I was doing was the Isn't It Wonderful updates. I was doing that as a short video, and that too kind of felt like it fell out of alignment. Now, I started that practice with this idea of, yes, every day, a video every day, but the more I learn about myself, like, there's something about that kind of schedule that doesn't really jive with me, or at least it didn't for that particular thing. I don't know. I'm open to discovering new things in the future that do give me that fire for an extended period of time, but that didn't. And so I kind of let it fall by the wayside. And while I still do the practice of Isn't It Wonderful when I wake up in the morning, I stopped doing the videos. And then when I got back to London, I spent 3 days at my partner's house, which again is a shared housing and it's very, very small. So that kind of survival mode continued on from there. And then I had to, go through the process of recovering from that. So that's one big thing, is the environment that I was in for that period of time just felt really destabilizing, and like I needed to narrow my focus down to what I had to do to take care of myself, which left me very little to give back to you. And when I give back to you, when I do these videos, when I offer up my thoughts and knowledge about things that I've learned and things that I've found helpful, I want to come to that from a place of wellness, from a place of, and when I say wellness, I mean like not just wellness, but the welling up of water in an overfilled cup. Like, I want to bring to you that overwhelming sense of giving, instead of reaching into a cup that's half full or less and bringing out the dregs for you, because I need them. I need my dregs. So I stepped back and have been doing a practice of not being upset with myself about that, because I think it's very, very important that we give ourselves the space to reset, to recalibrate, to, get through something difficult without trying to maintain the top level of performance that we found in times and spaces when we were completely resourced. Like, if you're not feeling totally resourced, don't try to put out the same level of production or whatever as the times when you have felt totally resourced, because those levels of what you need and what you have and what you can give shift. And that's totally normal and totally human. And we just need to honor that in order to prevent ourselves from going into burnout and bitterness and resentment. Another thing that I've been navigating is starting my Existential Kink coaching training program, which has been a motherfucker. Like, this training is so deep already, and we've just had 2 teaching calls and a couple of calls with my small group. And wow, like the shifts that I've already been feeling, the processing that I've been invited into already is just pretty mind-blowing. And it requires a lot of, focus and time in order to do that processing in a way that feels healthy. If you've been following along on my Instagram page, you may have seen the post that I made about monsters. That's just one aspect of the course that we've been talking about. And it's this idea that we have to fall in love with the monstrous parts of ourselves so that we can then offer that love to the monstrous parts of others. And there's so much that I could go into with that, but I'm not going to. Because that's a whole nother episode or series of episodes that I do think that I will explore at a later date. Just wanted to bring that to the table. Like, I'm now tits deep in a course that is asking for a lot from me. And I do feel it giving so much back to me, and so much that I want to then offer to you once I've, moved it through my body. And that's just how it is. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's beautiful, wonderful, and still a lot. And then the third thing that I've been kind of working through, is an event that I went to quite recently last weekend that was so fucking edgy for me. It's an event that my partner and I went to, and I'm not going to go into details about it at this point, again, because it is so edgy for me. I'm not quite ready to bring that vulnerability to the public at this point, though I do think that I will talk about it on this channel later in more depth. But it's one of those things that required a lot of conversation before, during, and after, a lot of exploration of boundaries before, during, and after, and a lot of just practicing being okay, feeling discomfort. So really moving into that stretch zone that I talk about sometimes. Those are the 3 kind of, I want to say, more critical things that have happened as opposed to chronic. And then the chronic thing that I've been navigating for a while now is, as many of you may know, but many of you may not, I do house sitting pretty much full time now. I've been house sitting for the last a little over a year. And what that entails is coming to stranger's home and taking care of their home and their pets while they are away doing whatever. There are many, many beautiful things about this part of my life that I am super duper grateful for. One of the big ones is that it has allowed me to travel the way that I have and the places that I have for the length that I have without this aspect of my life Like I would, it would be very different. I would be in a very different place. So I'm very incredibly grateful for the opportunities that has given me. Also, traveling can be quite lonely and isolating, and taking care of people's pets. I keep looking over there because this gorgeous cat is just sitting on the table on my laptop case. Taking care of people's pets has shifted travel from this kind of dehumanizing, in a little way, experience to being much more homey and much more grounded. I only take care of cats at this point. I did dogs for a little while, but that didn't quite work out for me and my needs. But being able to come home to a cat and take care of another being while I'm also traveling just feels like it's given me the opportunity to settle a lot better than if I were staying in hotels or even Airbnbs for this entire period of time. And it's a big and, it's exhausting, and I'm very, very tired. I very much miss having a home. I miss having a closet full of clothes that I enjoy wearing. I miss having a bookshelf. I miss having my own cat. And moving from house to house has given me a lot of information about how I personally want to live and don't want to live in certain cases. And like, it's heartbreaking. Every time I have to leave a home, a cat, it breaks my heart a little. I think that the heart is an incredibly resilient part of the human experience. And when you break something over and over and over again, and continue to move into those spaces where it's going to be broken over and over and over again, it can start to get kind of brittle because it needs the time to regenerate. And I have that opportunity when I have much longer sits, but when it's short, like this one is only a week, it gets tiring. That's the big chronic thing that I'm navigating right now. Well, that and money. Yeah, that's a thing. I'm very deeply committed to the idea and the practice of mythologizing my life. So right now, I'm in my origin story, and that makes being in debt feel better, like so much less triggering. Like, you read all these stories from these entrepreneurs about, oh, I was X number of dollars in debt, and I had this and this and this, and then I built, this business. And that's where I am. I'm writing that introduction to the rest of my life. And while sometimes that can get overwhelming, it also feels very freeing to take that approach to things. And I can still eat. I obviously have a beautiful roof over my head. I have connection with these cats. I'm safe. Knowing that and being able to root in that over and over and over again is really important. And it's still an interesting energy to work with. So that's where I'm at now. I have some things cooking up. I am going to be back with a video on introducing yourself to your tarot and vice versa, like getting to know your new tarot deck or the tarot deck you already work with, and different ways that you can do that. So that video will be coming out soon. I am cooking a course on magical reparenting that will incorporate magic, reparenting processes, and the tarot all in one really juicy I think, very helpful and necessary container. And that'll be coming out either April or May. I'm still working on that. And until then, I'm going to be focusing more on the topic of reparenting. Of course, the Hecate's Keys videos will continue to come out. We're almost done with that series. And then, yeah, lots more about reparenting, inner child work, and how that's connected to shadow work, ways that you can use it, and starting to seed in information about this course that I'm building to see if it's something that you feel like you could benefit from when I do open the doors for it. So I hope you will hang in there for the ride. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to an update about my what feels at times like a very, very weird life to be living. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all of your comments so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Follow me over on Instagram. I've changed my Instagram handle to @QueenSarahEvergreen. Really trying to embrace that queen energy. Not trying. I am embracing that queen energy. The Queen of Wands is my archetype, and I'm just really leaning in there. If you are enjoying this video or this podcast, please do like, comment, rate, review, all the good things, and be sure to subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. Oh, and if you're interested in working with me, check out my coaching offers. Also, link in the description. Okay, I love you so much. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, use your voice.